Today's card is I Love You, and this is in honor of my and my husband's 2nd anniversary. So I thought it would be fun to do a love card, and this is using some really cute elements. We have the Gumdrop Artful card kit, we have a patchwork template, some dazzles, some bling, some specialty papers, and acetate. So lots to look forward to. Today I'm using quite a few things here. First we have the red bling. This has 72 pieces on it in 3 sizes. We have 63 thin line dazzles in gold. This is the Gumdrop ribbon set, which matches perfectly with the Gumdrop Artful card kit. 112 pieces. There's a quick glance at some of the things you'll find inside. I also have the paper Patchwork number 2 template. It's a clear template, but I just put it on here so you can see it a little bit better. Some pretty cute little patchwork squares you can make with this one. Then I also have the 12 by 12 gold metallic paper, lovely gold smooth finish, and a clear acetate overlay. And this is also on a backing, just so you can see it better. This one has a love banner across the top, and I'm not going to use the words. You can certainly use that on another project. I'm just going to use this acetate for the clear part. Alright, let's get started. First I'm going to use my paper Patchwork number 2 template to create a couple of patchwork pieces for my card. I'm going to use the Sunray design, and I've already cut out my pieces except for what's called the bottom, which is just this base square right here. That's used for several of the designs on here. By the way, there are 5 designs on here. I think I said before there were only 3, but there are 5. So I have here in the gold metallic top A. I have top B in red dot. Now this is kind of the opposite of this shape because I traced it on the back of the paper, then when you turn it over it's the opposite. But it works the same. So you just layer that on top of the gold. And then Sunray Center, which is this shape, I have cut out of this multi-stripe paper. And that gets glued right there. And I'm going to make 2 of these exact designs. So I just have the top A, top B, and Sunray Center. Now the Sunray Center, I do have to comment on the template. I don't know if you can tell here, but this center is actually smaller than this. So if you were to cut this out, it would fit kind of inside this curve here. So what I did was I used this shape here with my pencil, and for example, let me grab a piece of paper here. Just place that kind of on the corner of my paper and traced these lines along these plastic edges here. When I take it off, you'll see that curve, and I just cut along that curve, and that's how I got my Sunray Center to fit perfectly on top of my Sunray. Alright, so I've made 2 identical ones here. Alright, I'm going to set these aside for the moment and keep on working on the other stuff on my card. So what I have here is a piece of that clear 12 by 12 overlay, and I've cut it to 6.5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. And I also have here my blank white card that is 6.5 inches wide by 5 inches tall. So since I have this piece that's 1 inch taller, I've got that margin so that I can fold it over and attach it to the back, and I'll have this extra clear flap on the top of my card. So in order to get that crease nice and sharp, what I'm going to do is score my overlay my acetate here with the back of my craft knife. So I don't think you can see this very well, but I'm lining this up with the grid on my cutting mat. And I want to make sure it's the correct side. Yeah. So about an inch from the left is where I will score it. And get my ruler. This metal edged ruler is really nice for using your craft knife, since the metal edge prevents it from cutting through your ruler, which is very annoying. Done that before. Alright, now on this slippery acrylic, you have to make sure that you hold your ruler down nice and tight while you do this. And I use the back part of my blade and just run it along. A couple times will be fine. The acetate is not as easily cut through as cardstock. So now I'm folding it right on that scored line. I like to fold it in several places and then fold the whole thing down. Looking good. Alright, and I'm not going to attach it until later in my card making process, but I'm just going to fit it on. Looks perfect. So I have covered my blank white card with this blue plaid paper, and what I'm going to do now is take this really pretty shaped die cut and place it directly in the middle of my card, and I'm going to trace it with a pencil. Alright, now I'm going to open my card flat onto my cutting mat here, take my X-Acto knife and cut out my shaped window. Alright, now I have a very pretty shaped window on the front of my card. And here's my acetate piece with the folded edge. So now I'm going to attach that with zips. These are ultra thin glue lines and much less mess than using liquid glue. Very handy to have. Open my card up, take my scissors and cut a piece of zips to the length of my card. And going to attach it just along the top on the back of my card. So this is going to attach to that fold over flap that I created on my piece of acetate. Oops, I cut it a little bit long so it's got some hangover here. Gotta get that off. Alright, that's much better. So you can see I've got that glue line there. It's okay that it's a tiny bit crooked because it's all going to be on the back of the card. So I'm folding my card again to get it all nice and aligned. I've got, I know it's really hard to see, but I'm just aligning the fold of my acetate over the fold of the card. And pressing down to adhere. And these zips, or zots if you're using zots, adhere very strongly to acetate, which is a slick surface. So there we have my clear flap and my card flap. And it's got a nice shiny look to it. And I'm going to just trim off my excess adhesive here on the edge. Now before I glue my sun rays onto my acetate, I'm going to take some of my thin lines, gold thin lines dazzles, and decorate a little bit of the front of my card. Alright, so here's a closer look at what I did with the gold thin lines dazzles. And what I'm going to do now is glue my sun rays onto the front of the acetate. Just with a glue stick, it should be fine. Okay, so here's what my card looks like at the moment. I've glued on my sun rays, and I've also added little small pieces of the gold thin lines dazzles to act as sort of extending my sun rays into my shaped window. So I've got the clear layer with everything on top of it. Then I have the front flap of my card and then the inside. Now time to finish the inside, and then I'm going to go and add my finishing touches on the front. So for the inside, I'm going to cover this with paper first. Okay, so I've covered this with the green circles paper, and I've just avoided using the bubble border. There are still some circles showing, which is fine. And then I glued a piece of red, this is about 3/4 of an inch thick, right across the middle. Okay, so I've glued down my little fox here. I have this from the Cutouts, and if you see the front, I've added 2 die cut flowers, and this is actually on the actual card flap, so I've just glued them. You can see they're poking out here, so make sure not to put glue on these areas of your die cuts so they won't stick to the inside. And so I've got that on the second layer and this on the front layer, and I'm just going to add my red bling and then I'll be finished except for the ribbon. Alright, so here's my finished card. On the front layer of acetate, I have the 2 sun rays. I have several stripes of the gold thin lines dazzles, and I also have knotted this ribbon to kind of be on the base of this circle with the fox in it, which I think looks kind of cute. And on the second layer, I have these 2 flowers, and on this flower I've added my red bling. Oh, by the way, you can see I've added red bling here and here. There's none on this piece because it's covered with a ribbon. So save your bling. And then, so I have these here, just a little sparkle and shine. And then here's the inside, really simple, it just says I love you. And that is all. So it's a very dimensional layered card. If you can kind of see all 3 layers build together to make that little scene. And I hope you guys enjoyed this card. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for this week's bundle. First in today's bundle, you will be receiving the Paper Patchwork number 2 template. And in this you can create 3 different patchwork pieces, and you can mix and match the different designs to create your own paper quilt of your choice. So there's different designs on here to help you kickstart your creativity. I also have a 12x12 gold metallic sheet, and this is a really nice weight. It's not paper thin, it's flexible, and it has this really beautiful gold sheen to it. It's not like a mirror finish, it's really nice and smooth. And then I have the glove overlay. This is just the acetate sheet. It does have a banner across the top. If you wanted to use that across a scrapbook page or another project, you can. And simply trim off the bottom label here. But in my project, I use it just as the clear part. And there's plenty of, since it is a 12x12 sheet, there's plenty of acetate to go around. So I also have in today's bundle the Gumdrop Artful card kit, and we'll take a closer look at that in a second. I have the Gumdrop ribbon set, so that matches perfectly with the Artful card kit. And the gold lines dazzles, project idea or instructions on how to use these on the back, project idea on the front, red bling, and these are all self-adhesive separate pieces, and there are 72 pieces in 3 different sizes, really handy to have. And now let's take a look at the Gumdrop Artful card kit. Here on the package you'll see that there are 112 pieces, including 68 die cuts, 37 cutouts, and 7 custom papers. Of course, we're going to give you a project idea on the front as well as on the back. There are several project ideas. Really cute. And then these are all the pieces that you will be getting in the set, but let's take a closer look. So for the 7 custom papers, starting with this fun gumdrop piece, we have a bright green and very colorful gumdrop or a circle pattern for the border. This is an all over circle dot pattern. We have a very cute white dot on bright red. This one's a little more subtle. It's got a very pretty light blue with a tile pattern all over it. I love this stripe. It's very cheerful and it can go a lot of different ways. Tiny white dots on a textured yellow. This is sort of a goldenrod, I would say. And a diagonal blue plaid pattern. Very pretty. Those are the 7 sheets. Then we have a sheet of cutouts, and they have very cute and fun sayings on them. The blank ones are for you to customize with your own words and greetings if you like. And then of course we have the 3 sheets of die cuts. And die cuts are awesome because you don't have to cut them out. You just punch them out, and you can get rid of those nibs by cutting through them or sanding them off. Some people like to do. And there are lots of different shapes and sizes of these die cuts. They go very well with the set of papers. Some of them have cute little characters on them, which are very fun. And then this sheet has more of a feminine feel to it. And I also like die cuts because they are a thicker cardstock weight. They're not very flimsy. You can foam tape them and they won't kind of get bent out of shape. And there's 3 sheets of them, so you have really plenty to go around. Some of my favorite die cuts include swirls, since those are very hard to cut out on their own, and they are very versatile to use. So those are all the items in the Gumdrop Artful card kit. That completes today's product bundle. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please join me again next week for another fun project.